With just over 3 weeks to go now until Election Day, a new Fox News poll shows Hillary Clinton's lead over Donald Trump growing to 7 points nationally, up from just 2 points a week ago. That trend fueling Republican concerns about down-ballot races and GOP chances of holding its majorities in the House and Senate. Republican pollster Glenn Bolger is co-founder of Public Opinion Strategies. He joins me now from Washington. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me.
That 7-point lead in Fox, does that sound, you poll around the country in races, does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, look, you look at, for example, Real Clear Politics, and you see that's about Hillary's lead overall when you average all the polls together. So, you know, this poll is right there. The challenge is that Donald Trump is having a hard time breaking 41% in any national poll, and Hillary Clinton doesn't get much lower than 45%. So that's pretty problematic for the Trump campaign.
But does it mean that he's still within distance of a comeback if he puts together the right message over the next 3 weeks?
Well, he's got the right message. He just doesn't use it. And
That's the change message?
Yeah, it's a change. If you're happy with the way things are going, vote for Hillary. But instead he goes off on these tangents where he goes after people and attacks them for no apparent reason other than he's unhappy with something they said.
All right, so let's talk about the impact on down-ballot races. Is there an impact now? Is there an undertow here in the Senate and House races that you're seeing from the Trump 40% polling?
Well, at this point, no, but you do worry about political gravity taking over in these down-ticket races. In other words, right now, Republicans are still running, you know, look, there are a lot of close Senate races, there are a lot of close House races, but at this point in time, it looks like Republicans will hold on to control in the Senate and certainly in the House as well. But, you know, with 24 days left, we don't know whether, you know, the Trump problems become like a political black hole that sort of sucks down other Republican candidates.
So you're even saying that right now, if the election were held right now, Republicans would hold on to the Senate, and that's got to be because these Republicans then are running 5, 6, 7, maybe more points ahead of the Trump campaign. Are you seeing that in a state like Pennsylvania or New Hampshire, or for that matter, Nevada?
Yeah, no, you've got Republicans running their own campaigns. They're not obviously running along with the Trump message. They're focusing on the differences between themselves and their Democratic opponents. The Democrats are focused on tying the Republicans to Trump.
Right.
And, you know, in all my polling and focus groups, a lot of voters, especially swing voters, say, you know, that candidate is not the same as Donald Trump, and they see a difference, and they really don't buy that message. And, you know, you see it consistently. So it's a kind of curious as to why Democrats are doing that.
Well, that's their strategy, right? Disqualify Trump as an individual, and that may give House and Senate Republican candidates the chance to develop an individual identity and maybe skirt the trouble. But let's look at the House, Glenn. How many seats do you think are really competitive? I've been told, you know, that Democrats need to pick up 30 to take over. I've told there's something like 40 seats in the House that are competitive.
Yeah, yes, there are about 40 seats. And what happens, though, is it's unusual for all 40 seats to go in one direction.
Right.
That's certainly more of a concern in the Senate, which in presidential years seems to break to the side of the winner. It doesn't always happen, but that is certainly a concern with the Senate. In the House, the Democrats would have to run the table and go kind of pitch a perfect game, and that's highly unlikely, hard to do, especially because, you know, so many of the Republican incumbents have, you know, done a good job of fundraising. The Democrats had a really weak recruiting year, both in the House and Senate, so they have weaker candidates as well, which is hurting them.
But so the generic poll, the generic Democratic versus Republican, which would you prefer to run Congress poll number is about +6 for the Democrats in the Fox poll. That really averages out, if it holds, to about a 15 to 20 seat gain for Democrats. If that goes further, you know, 8 or 10 points, then you could see the House in jeopardy.
Yeah, no, you're right. If it does get worse, and that's why, again, you see Republican incumbents and Republican open seat candidates running their own campaign focused on the differences, the contrasts between themselves and their Democratic opponents, as opposed to focus so much on, the kind of Trump campaign.
If it looks like Hillary Clinton is going to win, at what point do the Republicans break out that line from 1996 which said, don't give a blank check to Clinton? In that case, it was Bill Clinton. In this case, it will be Hillary Clinton. Do you see that happening in the next couple weeks if Trump doesn't turn it around?
Oh, most definitely. We're including that on almost all of our campaign polls, and voters majority. We find a majority in all these swing states saying, swing seats and swing states for the Senate, saying yes, don't give. They agree with the premise of don't give Hillary Clinton a blank check. Keep in mind, her negatives are very high.
Right.
Donald Trump's are just higher. So it's going to be hard for Trump to come back. But at the same time, it's not like voters are saying, boy, we love Hillary. We want her to have all the power. We want her to totally control Washington.
All right, Glenn Bolger, thanks very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still ahead, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump prepare for their final showdown. But with both campaigns dealing with ongoing troubles, will issues make an appearance? Issues, that is issues, who's heard of that, in Wednesday night's debate?